Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Eric and I like to read, and today I'm going to be going over November new book releases. So there are quite a few November book releases that I'm actually interested in this time. I know like a lot of the new release videos this year, I've only had about like 4 or 5. I think this month I actually have more than that, which is exciting because yeah, I don't know. There's just been a lot coming out in November that have piqued my interest. And there are some that are like carryover for series that I have already read some of. So that also gets me excited. So there's that. But yeah, I'm excited to share with you guys. And I'm sure I'll have some on here that you guys have never heard of. But I will also have probably some on here that you've definitely heard of. So yeah, let's just jump right into it. The first one is Bookshops and Bone Dust. So I actually have the first one, which is Legends and Lattes. I haven't read it yet, but I'm excited to read it because it sounds like the coziest little fantasy that I've ever heard of. And now there's this one as well. So that just like intrigues me even more to read the first one. I thought I would just do like a quick mention of this one because it is coming out. So that's very exciting. And I know a lot of people really loved Legends and Lattes. So yeah, now they have more to dive into of that world, which is very exciting. Then we have one that this one sounds pretty cool. So it's called Gwen and Art Are Not in Love. And it says that this is a mixture of Heartstopper and A Knight's Tale. So I read the synopsis of it and it actually sounds super adorable. So it's following Gwendolyn and Arthur, and they are betrothed to each other. They're set to get married. And so they have to spend the summer together in Camelot. So while they're in Camelot, Gwendolyn catches Arthur smooching with a boy, and Arthur snoops into Gwendolyn's stuff and looks through her diary and sees that she fancies her knight that is like her protector. And so the two of them realize that maybe they don't need to be enemies, maybe they can be allies and kind of like be covers for each other so that they can actually pursue the real ones that they fancy. And so it's the two of them working together to keep themselves protected. Like they're protecting each other and the loves that they're interested in. I think that's like such a cool twist on like a medieval tale, and I think it's gonna be really cute and really fun. So yeah, this is definitely something that I would pick up and read. I like medieval settings to begin with, so that's awesome. Also, Heartstopper and A Knight's Tale. Those are two amazing works of fiction, but like great adaptations as well. So yeah, I think this book would be awesome. So yeah, definitely something I'm going to be keeping my eye out for. This next one is a thriller because of course I have to put a thriller in here. It's called The Manor House. And so this one is following a couple who end up winning the lottery. And so after they win the lottery, they build like this big glass barn that they go live in out in the countryside. There's also like a manor next to it that is occupied by like a young couple and I believe a maid that lives in like a side building. And so they're living out there, living the best life they have, having expensive hobbies, expensive cars, just doing whatever they want until the husband of this couple ends up being found in the pool where it looks like they drowned. And so from there, the wife is like grieving her husband's death and getting very lonely in this glass barn that they built where she doesn't even know how to like work half of the tech things that are added to it. It's a very like high tech house. And so yeah, she's living there. A friend of the husband ends up coming to help her because she's like grieving his death. And so he's there, this other couple's there, this maid is there, and they're all trying to help her. But she also feels like there might be something else happening and that her husband may not have drowned by accident, but could potentially have been murdered. And so now it phrased it as she feels like a fish being surrounded by piranhas in a fishbowl. And like, that sounds pretty good. So yeah, I'm definitely intrigued to know what's going on here and see what happens with that. It's always like interesting when you throw money into the factor because like a lot of things are motivated by money. So we'll have to see what happens in this thriller, but definitely sounds interesting. And it's like a countryside setting where it's kind of secluded. So that's also very intriguing for me. Also coming out is Defiant, which is number 4 in the Skyward series. I'm not going to go too much into this one because this is obviously like a fourth book. But I have read the first 2 books in the Skyward series and loved them both. So you better believe that I'll eventually be reading this one once I get through the third one. Then next up, I have this one called Do Your Worst. And so this is like, it's kind of like a supernatural romance. I don't know if it's actually supernatural, but anyways, it's about a girl who is familiar with the occult and the supernatural world, and she is hired to come to this like Scottish castle to break a curse. And then when she goes to this castle, there's also a man there that she meets who immediately tries to get her fired because it turns out he's an archaeologist and this is his survey site, and so he doesn't really want her here doing her work that she's doing while he's working at the survey site on his archaeological digs. And so the two of them kind of like butt heads immediately, and I would say start out as enemies and end up finding themselves in close proximity to each other quite often, being that they both are staying at this castle while she's doing investigations into breaking the curse and while he is doing work with his like archaeological dig. So the two of them are forced to spend time close together, and from there it's gonna go somewhere. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is a romance, so I'm sure there's gonna be lots of smooching in the dark corners of the castle, but we're gonna have to wait and see. It sounds kind of fun though, so I would definitely be down for this one. The next one is called The Fiction Writer, and this is following a literary star named Olivia who has recently released her novel, which is like a retelling of Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, I think is how you say that. And it was a flop. And so her boyfriend of 9 years also just dumped her, and she is just willing to take on any writing job she can at the moment because she's kind of lost. And so her agent messages her with info about a ghostwriting job for this man who is apparently like an extraordinaire billionaire, sexiest man of the year kind of person. And so she jumps at that job opportunity because she needs the money and needs to get out of this like rut that she's in with her writer's block. So she ends up going to visit this guy, and he starts telling her about his grandmother and a bunch of things that are in his past, reveals some secrets, and so from there it kind of like gets entangled and she kind of gets pulled into that storyline. And yeah, from there we have to figure out what happens. I don't know much more than that, but it sounds intriguing, and for people that are like part of the literary world or working in the literary world, this sounds like something that is like relatable, I guess, and would pull you in. So yeah, all the authors out there, if you want to read a book about another author who is becoming a ghostwriter so that they can get over their writer's block, and it's also a thriller that's apparently supposed to keep you reading, check out this one. And then the last one I have on this list is called The Kingdom of Sweets. And so this is supposed to be a magical take on the Nutcracker story. So I'm going to read the synopsis for this one, and let's find out how it sounds together. It looks cool. I like the cover, but anyways, this is what it says. Light and dark, this is the destiny placed upon Natasha and Clara, the birthright bestowed by their godmother, the mysterious sorcerer Drosselmeyer. Clara, the favorite, grows into beauty and ease, while Natasha is cursed to live in her sister's shadow. But one fateful Christmas Eve, Natasha gets her chance at revenge. For Drosselmeyer has brought the Nutcracker, an enchanted present that offers entry into a deceptively beautiful world, the Kingdom of Sweets. In this land of snow and sugar, Natasha is presented with a power far greater than Drosselmeyer, the sugar plum fairy, who is also full of gifts and dreadful bargains. As Natasha uncovers the dark destiny laid before her birth, she must reckon with powers both earthly and magical, and decide to which world she truly belongs. Ooh, this sounds good. And it's like Christmassy themed, so it'd be perfect for like a December read. Yeah, I'm totally down for that. Anyways, those are all the books that I was kind of interested in that are coming out in November. Let me know if you guys have any recommendations for like Christmassy reads, because I will be wanting to plan my TBR near the end of November, going into December. And I want like I want to read more books that have the Christmassy feel. I have a couple on my shelves, but not that many. And I'm going to try and make my readathon TBR like very Christmassy this year, because I find that every year I plan to do that and then never actually put very Christmassy things on it. So like I want to get into like the full spirit this year, the full vibe, the full mood of Christmas and December and Reindeer Readathon. So yeah. Anyways, if you guys want to support me, I have a Patreon and a Coffee page, which I'll link in the description down below, as well as a link to buy my bookmarks. You guys know the drill. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell notification button so you get notified when I post new videos. I post my videos on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And until next time, keep on reading.